Hi, everyone. This is Katie with Empowering Astrology, and this is your weekly look at the astrology. We're doing this a little bit midweek because I've been traveling. I've actually been out of the country. I've been in Spain for nearly 2 weeks, so that's why I have not been able to do this on the past couple of Mondays. So I know it's Wednesday. But better late than never. So, like I said, this is a look at the astrology of August 19th through 25th, 2019. And really, this week we're stepping into Virgo season. When the sun is in Leo, as it's been since July 22nd, we are in the energies of the sun is about creativity. The sun is about the self. The sun is about, and in Leo, of course, by extension, is about really expressing who we are. It's also a sign, Leo is a sign of fun. So July, August is typically a time when we're relaxing, we're having a good time. At least that's the idea. I know that astrology is a little bit, tipped towards the northern hemisphere. So, maybe it's a little bit of a different rhythm in the southern hemisphere, but certainly here in the northern hemisphere, August is a little bit of a slower time. So this week, however, the sun is going into Virgo. It goes into Virgo on August 23rd. So that's Friday. So, 2 days from now. So this is really the last of the Leo season. And it's a good idea. I would say today, tomorrow. I mean, if you're watching this on the replay, I would say Wednesday, Thursday, the 22nd of August, take a few moments to reflect on what you've been learning during Leo season. And I know that many people interface with astrology on the level of the sun, meaning like the self, just gonna take a moment to say hi to those who are joining me live. Hi, Joanna. Hope you're having a good time in Portugal. I miss Spain already. I realized we were very, on the Iberian Peninsula together. I see that Kimberly is also joining us tonight. Hi. Also, by the way, we're having an electrical storm here in Brooklyn. So if you hear any loud crashes of thunder, you'll know why. So as I was saying, and hi, Anna Maria, nice to see you as well. Yeah, I've been a couple weeks since I've been able to interface with you live. So thank you all for being patient. Like as I was saying, it's summer. It's summer here in the Northern Hemisphere. So time to relax. But as I was saying a few moments ago, if you can, use this time, today, the 21st, tomorrow, the 22nd of August, to think back and this idea that every sign of the zodiac is teaching us about life. This is, at the end of the day, astrology is just a calendar. It's just a 12 sign calendar, 12 signs, 12 months. It's just marking time in a slightly different rhythm than we do, let's say, with a regular calendar. This is, July 1st, August 1st, September 1st doesn't quite line up with the beginning of the seasons, but it is a alternative calendar. It's a calendar for living. It's a calendar for understanding different facets of life and things that we are all trying to learn about as human beings. So while the sun has been in Leo, we've been learning about the self. And each one of us on this planet, all 8 billion of us, we're all different people. And there's something that we have to share and to create and to give and to receive and to shine like the sun in our own way. And that's going to be different from every different person. I'm going to be, of course, different from you, and you're going to be different from me. And that's, not to sound cheesy, but that's kind of the idea. That's what makes the world go round. And so, this idea that, where are we meeting Leo? Are we meeting Leo from the place of where we're really embracing ourselves, or are we feeling shy? Are we feeling insecure? Are we lacking confidence? Or are we hiding? Like I said, we're all human beings. So we're going to have days where we're really, let's say, in the energies of the, kind of the openness of a sign, openness of Leo. And there's some days where we don't have confidence. So think back on the last 4 weeks. Think about, maybe as your confidence has risen and fallen, or maybe as you have tried to get deeper into expressing who you are. I know Leo season, there's a sense of style. I know, Venus, the planet Venus has been in Leo for most of August. It's just switched and gone into Virgo. But when it was in Leo, it was all about expressing style, expressing ourselves through aesthetic and beauty. But, we're starting to go towards Virgo season. So this is a time when we're stepping out of the energies of Leo, creation, joy, passion, spark of life. And then, Virgo is what's called an earth sign. So if Leo is creativity, meaning we have this vision of something that we want in our life and our heart is aligned with it and we have the passion to make it happen, well, Virgo is a very practical sign, earth. It gets us very much back to earth after all of this fire energy. And Virgo is quite simply, okay, what's the plan? What are the steps that we need to take in order to make our creative visions a reality? What sort of skills do we need? I know Virgo, Virgo is a sign that doesn't always get a lot of love in astrology. I actually really like Virgo because I think it is really underrated as a sign, and people actually often mistake me as a Virgo, even though I am a Scorpio. So I don't know, like maybe I just get Virgo, but Virgo is a sign where you need that organization, and you need that diligence, and you need to have a schedule, and you need to have a plan. And Virgo, I often say, is the sign that makes the world go round. So where would we be without Virgo? Well, maybe a little disorganized. Maybe things wouldn't quite get done. But for all of us, we may not be a Virgo, or may not be mistaken for a Virgo. How do we really embrace this sign over the next 4 weeks? So, like I said, astrology is a calendar. It's a calendar for life, and it's a calendar for living. It's the wheel of life. This is a time for you to kind of get back to earth, get down to basics, set a schedule for yourself, come up with a to-do list, take a look at your surroundings and how do you get organized. There's a sense of needing purification with Virgo. Virgo is the sign of purity and cleanliness. It's kind of this joke about Virgo and like they need to organize their stock drawer. And I know that's kind of taking it a little bit too far, but it is 4 weeks to really get organized. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Virgo is back to school season. Virgo is a sign that's ruled by Mercury, and it's about learning, but in a very sort of critical way. In let's say Gemini, the other Mercury ruled sign, which is also about learning, is more about kind of gathering information and gathering ideas. But it's really in Virgo that we kind of do the critical thinking. So it is a time of education. It is a time of going back to school and getting learning our ABCs. And Virgo is very much a sign that's just trying to make sure we do what we need to do on an everyday basis. We brush our teeth and we show up someplace on time and we follow through with our actions. It's also the sign of health and wellness. So we're entering a season where we need to get back to the body, get back to the needs of the body. This could mean going to the gym, or going for a walk, or recommitting to something that's going to be a positive influence on your physical health. This could be making an appointment at a doctor, or let's say another type of practitioner that you utilize to have good health. It's a time to eat your vegetables. It's a time to really watch what, there's a sense of, as I said, Virgo is purity. So you're eating things that are pure. It's not junk food time. So that's Virgo season. And I'm just checking in with the comments today. Some people are organizing their drawers. Yes. Somebody's asking about meeting a soulmate for the first time. It's kind of a specific question. I don't know. I'm a little on the, how do I put this? So I think that people have more than one soulmates. I mean, if Virgo is your relationship sign, meaning if you're a Pisces or Pisces rising, this could be a time when you're naturally turning to relationships. But I mean, I wouldn't say Virgo just on a basic level is about relationships. Although I will say that there is a dynamic with relationships with Virgo, especially now that Venus is in Virgo for the next few weeks. I think it goes into Libra on the 14th of September. There's a little bit of a shadow side of Virgo. I mean, every sign has a shadow side, so I'm not necessarily picking on Virgo against other signs. Virgo can talk about power dynamics in relationships where somebody is subservient to another. So I think that as Venus is in Venus is in Virgo right now, it's important to be aware of where we are, let's say, self-sacrificing within relationships. And I mean all relationships, not just romantic relationships. So where we are self-sacrificing, where we are putting up with things that maybe we shouldn't put up with. Sometimes Venus and Virgo can have a little bit of a reputation as being a doormat. I mean this with love. This idea that here, you're always constantly doing things for other people, but it's an unequal relationship. So just be aware that, just audit your relationships the next few weeks. I mean, Venus is in Virgo, like I said, until the middle of September. Virgo is certainly a sign that likes to kind of analyze and to audit. So where are there kind of these not quite equal levels in your relationships? Just checking up on more comments. I see more people in Portugal. Hello. I love Portugal, love Spain. Yeah, somebody said spot on with the power dynamics in regards to Virgo relationships. This might be a little bit getting on a tangent, but if you are a Virgo or Virgo rising, that makes Pisces your relationship sign, because Pisces is the sign opposite of Virgo. So for that logic, let's say you're a Gemini, then Sagittarius, the opposite sign, is your relationship sign. So with Virgo, when you have Pisces as your relationship sign, and you could say that for all of us, when the sun is in Virgo, we are kind of looking at this dynamic, for us as well, with Pisces being the opposite sign of Virgo. I think Virgo really does want a soulmate. There's that word again, even though I'm a little about that word. Virgo wants a spiritual connection with a partner, or at least that's the idea or the complement, because Virgo is a very earthy sign. It's a sign that really it's very objective. It's all about what it can touch, what it knows for a fact. And then Pisces is this very subjective sign. It's very intuitive and mystical and spiritual. So this is how Pisces and Virgo complement each other. So I think that there is something about a Virgo wanting it to attract in an energy that kind of balances out its tendency to be a little bit, if I can't touch it, then it doesn't exist kind of mentality. But sometimes you can see in Virgo relationships with the Pisces being the relationship sign that you're always self-sacrificing or doing things for a partner or other people, like I said, not just romantic relationships. And it's equal. It's not that kind of natural give and take that should be in a relationship. So I think when it's in balance, it's a very beautiful loving, here, let me take care of you, but it's very giving and receiving. There's no resentment, which can sometimes happen when you're kind of giving, giving, giving for somebody and it's not returning to you. So that's just something for all of us to keep in mind about, this kind of shadow dynamic that's there during Virgo season in relationships, but also, Virgo, the other, let's say, since we're on this subject of shadow, the shadow of Virgo is nothing's ever perfect enough. And if you are a Virgo, or if you have Virgo energy, or if you have a Virgo that you love in your life, that's the shadow side of Virgo, that it's never perfect enough. There's a sense to be a little too critical. Because Virgo's natural tendency is to sort and to organize and to say, okay, this is, this goes here, this goes there. So I think that when that gets a little bit in a not helpful way, it can be, okay, well, this is not good, or this is good. It can get a little bit to like that shadow judgmental side of Virgo. So other things about Virgo, and sometimes when I talk about Virgo, and if you are a Virgo, that there are messy Virgos out there. I know that if you are a Virgo, you've certainly seen the Virgo stereotypes about the spotlessly clean home, or everything so beautifully organized, a la Marie Kondo, for instance. If you don't know who that is, she is a Japanese organizer. Look her up, Marie Kondo. Anyway, there are messy Virgos out there, but there's this idea that even if you are a messy Virgo, there's a system. Virgos are very system oriented. This is a little bit of an intermediate point. If you know your astrology, then Virgo's sixth house, Virgo's sixth sign is Aquarius. So when you look at, let's say, the sixth sign of Virgo, because the sixth house is normally Virgo's domain. Again, this is intermediate astrology, so if I've lost you, just hang on a moment. Kind of gives you some insight into Virgo as a sign, Aquarius, systems, this idea that can be very intellectual, kind of gives you a little bit of deeper understanding of Virgo. Okay, intermediate astrology over, or maybe not. So I just want to check in with the comments. Yes, so Joanna asked about what's the relationship sign of Scorpio? It's Taurus. Yes. So all you have to do is look up your sign, look up what the opposite sign is, and that tells you about that's your relationship sign, because it's the sign that's opposite you. And that's what relationships are. Like, somebody is face to face with us and they are going to be different people in some way, and we have to negotiate. We have to negotiate different needs and different types of people, and we have to find that balance. Relationships. Looking at so somebody asked about the energy shifting. Yeah, I mean, let me put it to you this way. So when the sun goes into a new sign, like it will on the 23rd, when it goes into Virgo, there is the sun is, think about it. I mean, I don't know what time of day it is where you are right now, but think about the sun being out in the sky, all this light. So when the sun is in a sign, it's like this prism of light, or rather light going through a prism. And that prism, that kind of filter, is going to be a very different type of filter from one sign to the other. So Leo is a certain type of energy, which I was explaining earlier in this call. And then when it goes into Virgo, the light of the sun is now going to be shining through a different prism, a different archetype, different symbols, different themes. It's a different, like I said, astrology is just a calendar for living. So we'll have a bit of an energy shift. And then what happens on the 30th of August, we'll have what's called a Virgo new moon. So the new moons, they happen every 29 days, 20-ish days. And then we have a full moon, always 2 weeks later, and then 2 weeks after that, new moon. So it's really those new moons that kind of set a specific type of energy. They create this new opening. So yes, there's a bit of an energy shift. We're already starting to feel it. Venus went into Virgo today. Mars went into Virgo on the 18th, so just a few days ago. So this, kind of the different hands on the clock, the astrology clock, are starting to point towards Virgo right now. So that's telling all of us that it's time for diligence, work, projects, organization, focusing on our health, focusing on how we're showing up on the daily life, what we're eating, what we're doing. So this is Virgo season. It's the time of the harvest. It's a time when we reap all the things that we've been working on and creating throughout the year. So, in the symbol of Virgo, you'll see a woman who's holding a sheaf of wheat. A little bit of a technical point. Sometimes, Virgo being the sign of the Virgin, but I think it's important to think that it's more like the maiden, this idea of this like young woman, this, she's carrying the sheaf of wheat, this idea of harvest, this idea of plentifulness. It's an earth sign. It's the one that's after Taurus, so Taurus being the first earth sign, Virgo being the second, and Capricorn being the third. And I know in German it's called Jungfrau is the name for Virgo, young woman. So sometimes we get a little bit too caught up in this idea of Virgo, virgin, what must that mean? So anyway, that's like a little bit of a point aside. So yes, Christy, there will be a replay of this video. You can watch it on Facebook. You can also watch it on my YouTube channel. Just search for Empowering Astrology. I'll put the link in this afterwards. But yeah, a couple of housekeeping things. Also, please ask some questions if you have some questions while we're still together. I am, a la Virgo season, I am doing a webinar on August 29th. That's a Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on the astrology of 2019. This idea of like a tune-up. I did this webinar in January, which was a big overview for the year. But now that we're 2/3 of the way into it, like what can we expect the last third? So this webinar will give kind of an overview of 2019, like in the sense that now that we're living it, what's sort of new ideas and new consciousness do we have about what this year is asking of us. But more importantly, I wanted to take a, let's say, sign by sign look at how can you plan for the next 4 months of this year. So I will be looking at the new and full moons of September, October, November, December. We will have an eclipse in December, which I know we're just out of eclipse season already, so I know you guys aren't wanting to think about eclipses again. Talk about Saturn, because Saturn is turning direct in September. It's turning direct at 13 degrees of Capricorn. So, this, as we go into the new year, what Saturn in Capricorn and what Saturn conjunct Pluto in Capricorn in January 2020 will mean for all of us. To that point, I will give a sneak preview of the astrology of 2020. So link is in this Facebook live description for the webinar. You can get more information, you can register, and if you can't make the live webinar, as always, you can still register to receive the replay video, the MP3, and the slides. So I know Joe was asking, is the webinar registration only? Yeah, just go into the, maybe afterwards, the wherever it is on your screen, and you can register. think that was my only other big point, but I don't know. I'm excited about Virgo season. I know for me, I need to, I've been away for 2 weeks, so I want to get back into work. I want to get back into my practice and my flow and my schedule. And Virgo is that type of energy that we need to like wake up on time and get the things done that we need to get done throughout the day. I feel like Leo season in the summer, it's just like, I'll do it later. But Virgo is like, okay, let's do this now. Let's make this real. So I'm just going to check in with the comments, see if I didn't miss anything. Somebody mentions that she has no Earth in her chart. I only have one planet in Earth, and that's Saturn. I have Saturn in Virgo, and that's why I often get mistaken for a Virgo because it's making a lot of hard aspects in my chart. When if you don't have any Earth in your chart, two things can happen. One, you unconsciously overcompensate for it. So you'll sometimes see somebody who doesn't have Earth in their chart and they are like an amazing gardener or an amazing cook. I mean, food and plants, these are, what connect us to the Earth element. Or they work really hard to create material stability for themselves. If you have no Earth in your chart, just like with any element, and this does require you to know your chart more, you need to bring that element in. If you're not, Earth is Earth. As you can imagine, it's the earth beneath our feet. It's food, it's money, it's stuff, it's resources, but it's also these little bit more intangible things. It's the ambition, it's hard work, it's maturity, it's that working hard towards a bigger goal. It's our status in life. So Earth really grounds us. The Earth sign is always after a fire sign, so spark of life, new beginnings, and then that spark needs to kind of come into to be made physical. It needs to manifest. It's the thing with, if you do manifestation work, you really have to have your fire energy turned on, meaning your passion, your desire, your heart. You need to really be able to project what you want in your heart out there. Caveat, make sure it's something that's good in the sense that it's not harming anybody. That's just me doing my disclaimer. And then, that passion, then projecting out there, then what sort of practical steps are you going to make to kind of bring this heart and this passion into manifestation? Checking in with the comments. Saturn is bone. Somebody was mentioning arthritis, which that sounds pretty ouchy. Yeah. Saturn rules over the bones, rules over the structure, rules over teeth. So when we go into September, we'll be checking in with our structure, with our bones, with our teeth. So make sure you're getting your calcium and flossing and going to the dentist. Virgo season, we're nearly there. So again, astrology is a calendar for living. It's a time that helps us to point into new ways and to orient ourselves towards a sign and what the sign is teaching us about life. And everything that happens in life, you can find it somewhere in the zodiac wheel. So the energy is going to start to shift. So we've had 4 weeks of Leo, 4 weeks to rediscover our passion and our joy and our spark of life. And then now it's time to put it into reality. So I would use the next day or so, especially now that the moon's in Taurus, to let's write it out. What do you want to manifest? What do you want to make real? But do be prepared, to actually do the real work, the organization, the planning, the diligence. Mars is in Virgo until I believe it's the beginning of October. Yeah, October 4th is when Mars goes in Libra. So Mars is action and motivation. We're feeling really motivated to do Virgo right now. I will say Mars and Virgo can make us overwork a little bit, but I think that it's good. It's time to get our feet on the ground after doing Leo for 4 weeks. So just time to, like I said, write out that list of what you need to get done and what are your goals and where do you want to be by the time we get to September, I believe 23rd, when the sun goes into Libra. So that, just let me just check in on the comments. Somebody says, yeah, also no Earth in their chart. I would like to win the lottery too and explore new adventures. Also, Patricia. Maybe not going to happen. I don't know. Maybe I need to be more open. I'm open to abundance in all different ways, not just winning the lottery. So on that note, happy Virgo season, happy almost Virgo season, and hopefully it's a good time for you to get back to basics. So my name is Katie Sweetman. You can follow me here on Facebook if you don't already, Empowering Astrology. I'm on Instagram, Empowering Astrology, Twitter. You can book a consultation with me now that I'm back in my office taking clients. So please check me out, empoweringastrology.com, and I look forward to connecting next week. So until then, bye.